Stand in front of a mirror right now. Tilt your chin up just slightly and look at the underside of your jaw, the skin from the bottom of your chin down to your collarbone. What do you see? If you've been over 60 long enough, you already know what you see. A loose curtain of skin hanging where there used to be a clean jawline. Some people call it a turkey neck. Some people call it a waddle. Either way, it's the same thing. Most people stop wearing scarves they actually like, button their shirts higher, and quietly avoid being photographed from the side. Some stop being photographed at all. They disappear from family albums, from holiday gatherings, from their own memories. You've probably tried things. A $90 cream that promised to lift, with an ingredient list full of retinol and peptides. You tried a jade roller, rolling it up your neck and jawline each morning, hoping for a lift. You tried a gua sha tool, scraping the skin along your jawline, hoping to sculpt it back into shape. Maybe you've quietly looked up the price of a neck lift, somewhere between $5,000 and $15,000, and you closed the tab because that is not money sitting in a drawer. It's not even close. Here is what nobody has told you. Every single one of those approaches is aimed at the wrong layer of your neck. The skin you see in the mirror is not the problem. The skin is the curtain. The problem is the rod the curtain hangs on, and the rod has gone slack. But here is what nobody has told you. Every single one of those approaches is aimed at the wrong layer of your neck. The skin you see in the mirror is not the problem. The skin is the curtain. The problem is the rod the curtain hangs on, and the rod has gone slack. Once you understand which rod and you spend 30 seconds a day tightening it, the curtain lifts on its own. No surgery, no lasers, no jar of cream. Subscribe to this channel and help us reach 100,000. Every subscriber means one more older adult finds information their regular doctor never had time to share in a 15-minute appointment. Now, 3 things people try and why each one fails. First, creams. Look at the ingredient list on any neck firming cream. Retinol, peptides, hyaluronic acid. These are real skincare actives, and they work at the level of the epidermis. The epidermis is the outermost layer of your skin, about as thick as a single sheet of paper. A turkey neck is not an epidermis problem. The looseness you see comes from structures sitting half an inch below the surface. A cream cannot physically reach them. Spending $90 a jar to treat the wrong layer is like polishing the windshield of a car with a flat tire. Second, weight loss. People assume the loose skin under the jaw is fat. Some of it is, but many people who lose 30 pounds find their neck looks worse, not better, because the underlying muscle never tightens. The looseness you see in the mirror comes from structures sitting about half an inch below the surface of your skin. A cream cannot physically reach those deeper layers. The molecules are too large to penetrate past the epidermis. Spending $90 a jar to treat the wrong layer is like polishing the windshield of a car with a flat tire. It does not address the real problem. Second, weight loss. Many people assume the loose skin under the jar is simply excess fat. Some of it is fat, but many people who lose 30 pounds find their neck looks worse, not better. That is because the underlying muscle never tightens during weight loss. Only the cushion between the skin and muscle disappears. Now there is more curtain and less to hold it up. The skin droops because the support system has not been strengthened. Third, surgery. A neck lift physically removes excess skin and tightens what remains. It works, but it costs thousands of dollars and requires general anesthesia. You also need 2 weeks of recovery, and surgical risks climb after age 60. For most people, surgery is not the right first step. It is the step you take only after you have exhausted what your own body can do for itself. And almost no one has actually exhausted that. The body's own muscles can do far more than most people realize. But here is the truth. Almost no one has actually exhausted what their own body can do for itself. Most people spend years on creams, gadgets, or consultations without ever working the one layer that actually holds everything up. Before I show you the exercise, here are the warning signs that mean you stop watching this video and call a doctor today. These are non-negotiable. Your health comes first. First, a neck lump that has appeared in the last 6 months, especially one that does not move when you swallow. This could be a sign of something serious, like a thyroid nodule or other growth. Second, sudden asymmetric swelling on one side only. If one side of your neck swells up quickly while the other stays normal, that is not a muscle issue. It needs a medical evaluation. Third, hoarseness in your voice lasting more than 3 weeks. Persistent voice changes can indicate something affecting the vocal cords or nearby structures. Do not ignore it. Fourth, difficulty swallowing food or pills. If you find yourself struggling to get food down or it feels like something is stuck, that is a red flag for esophageal or nerve issues. Fifth, unexplained weight loss combined with changes in your neck. Losing weight without trying, along with neck symptoms, can signal a systemic condition that needs investigation. Any one of those signs is a reason for a same-week medical appointment, not a YouTube exercise. Your health is more important than any cosmetic concern. The technique I am about to describe addresses age-related muscle and structural change. It does not treat thyroid disease, lymphoma, or head and neck cancer. Those are entirely different conditions. If anything in that list applies to you, close this video and make the call. Your doctor is the right person to evaluate those symptoms, not a 30-second exercise. For everyone else, here's what is actually happening under the skin of your neck. Understanding the mechanism is the first step to fixing it. 3 structures decide whether your jawline looks defined or collapsed. Most people have never heard of 2 of them. Let's start with the first, the platysma. Most people have never heard of 2 of the 3 structures that decide whether your jawline looks defined or collapsed. The first structure is the platysma muscle. It is a thin, broad sheet that runs from your collarbone up across the front of your neck and attaches under your jaw. The platysma is a thin, broad sheet of muscle running from your collarbone up to the underside of your jaw like a flat ribbon covering the front of your neck. Imagine a single sheet of fabric stretched tight from your chest up to your chin. That is your platysma. It holds everything in place. When the platysma is toned, it pulls the skin of your neck taut against the underlying structures, giving you a clean jawline. When the platysma weakens, it sags, and it takes the skin in front of it down with it. That sagging creates the loose curtain effect. Here is the critical fact. The platysma is not a muscle that gets used in normal daily life. You do not engage it when you talk, eat, walk, or turn your head. You do not engage the platysma when you talk, eat, walk, or turn your head. It is a muscle that stays silent during almost everything you do all day. The platysma is a facial expression muscle. It is used mainly when you grimace or pull your lower lip down with force, not during routine activities. Most adults will go entire decades without ever consciously contracting the platysma. It is a muscle that simply goes unused year after year. A muscle that is never used atrophies. It thins, it loosens. Over time, that lack of use leads to visible sagging in the neck. After age 50, the platysma loses thickness faster than almost any other muscle in your body, simply because nothing in modern life asks it to work. After 50, the platysma loses thickness faster than almost any other muscle in your body, simply because nothing in modern life asks it to work. Second structure, the hyoid bone. Most people have never heard of it, but it is the hidden anchor of your jawline. The hyoid is a small horseshoe-shaped bone in the front of your neck, just above your Adam's apple. Unlike every other bone in your body, the hyoid does not connect to any other bone. It floats freely, held only by soft tissues. It is suspended entirely by muscles and ligaments, like a hammock held up by ropes. Those ropes are the suprahyoid and infrahyoid muscle groups, which run above and below the hyoid bone. As those muscles weaken with age, they can no longer hold the hyoid bone in its proper position, and it drops lower in the neck. When the hyoid drops, the angle between your chin and your throat, the angle that defines a sharp jawline, collapses. A youthful neck has a clean angle of about 105 to 115 degrees there. A neck that has lost hyoid suspension has an angle closer to 130 or 140 degrees. Skin that used to cover a sharp corner now drapes over a gentle slope. That is why the jawline looks undefined. That is the curtain effect. The skin is the curtain, and the hyoid hammock is the rod that has gone slack. The third structure is forward head posture. This is the position of your head relative to your shoulders. It is a habit that has been building for years, often without you noticing. Cleveland Clinic. Notice how you are sitting right now. Reading on a phone, watching a screen. Most people's heads drift forward without thinking. It is a natural response to focusing on something close to you. Your head is likely positioned 1 to 3 inches in front of your shoulders. That is a small distance, but it changes the entire mechanics of your neck. The weight of your head, about 10 to 12 pounds, is now hanging off your spine at an angle. For every inch your head moves forward of your spine, the muscles at the back of your neck must work harder to hold it up. They are in constant contraction, trying to keep your head from dropping forward. This is a major cause of tension headaches and neck pain after 60. Harvard Health. While the back muscles are overworking, the muscles at the front of your neck, including the platysma and the suprahyoid group, go slack. They are not being asked to do anything. The forward head posture has turned them off. Hold that posture for 8 hours a day, every day, for 20 years. That is a lot of time for the front of your neck to be in a slack, inactive position. The muscles shorten and weaken from disuse. The front of your neck has been in shutdown mode for a long, long time. The platysma and the muscles holding up the hyoid bone have not been challenged. They have atrophied, just like any muscle that is never used. 3 structures: the platysma sheet, the hyoid hammock, and your postural alignment. These are the 3 pillars that decide whether your jawline looks defined or collapsed, and there is more on how they work together coming up. When all 3 weaken together, the visible result is what people call a turkey neck. The platysma sags, the hyoid drops, and the forward head posture makes everything worse. It is a cascade, not a single problem. The good news is you can address all 3 at once. You do not need 3 separate routines. There is one movement that targets the platysma, lifts the hyoid, and corrects posture simultaneously. A single 30-second exercise reverses the visible result. It is not about long workouts. It is about precise activation of these specific muscles. And it is free. No equipment, no creams, no surgery. Picture a woman, 64 years old, call her Margaret. She had retired the year before and started seeing photos of herself at family gatherings. She did not recognize her own jawline in those pictures. Margaret described this exact problem to a close friend over coffee one morning. She pointed to the side of her neck, frustrated, and said she felt like she was disappearing into her own skin. She had retired the year before, and now she was seeing herself in photos from family gatherings. The jawline she remembered was gone, replaced by a soft, sagging curtain of skin. She decided she could not look at one more picture where she did not recognize her own jawline. The angle had collapsed, and she felt like a stranger in her own face. Over the next 18 months, by her own count, she spent close to $4,000 on products and treatments aimed at lifting her neck. None of them addressed the real problem. She bought creams, derma rollers, microcurrent devices, and even paid for a consultation with a plastic surgeon. Each promised results, but none touched the muscle underneath. The surgeon quoted her $11,000 for a lower face and neck lift. She closed the tab on her computer and walked away. That kind of money was not sitting in a drawer. She had not done 1 minute of work on the muscle underneath the skin she was trying to lift. The curtain was loose, but the rod had never been tightened. When the mechanism was explained to her, platysma hyoid, posture, she said something worth repeating exactly. Her words were simple and honest. She said, "In 64 years, no one has ever told me I had a muscle there." She was stunned that a structure so important could be completely invisible to her. She thought her neck was just skin and a windpipe. The idea that a thin sheet of muscle ran from her collarbone to her jaw had never crossed her mind. Most people think the same thing. They look in the mirror and see loose skin, and they assume that's all there is: skin and bone and a bit of fat. The platysma is invisible from the outside. It is not in the workout videos, not in the yoga classes, and not in anyone's daily routine. And it is collapsing in nearly everyone past 50. The platysma is invisible from the outside, not in workout videos, not in yoga classes, and not in anyone's daily routine. Yet it is collapsing in nearly everyone past 50. Here is the exercise. Read the description twice before you try it. Technique matters more than duration. Technique matters more than duration. Doing it correctly for a few seconds is far more effective than doing it wrong for a minute. Sit upright in a chair, back straight, feet flat on the floor. This starting position is crucial for the exercise to work. Roll your shoulders back and down. This single act corrects forward head posture before you even start the exercise. The exercise will not work if your shoulders are slumped. Slumped shoulders keep the front neck muscles slack so the platysma cannot engage. Step 1. Press the flat of your tongue firmly against the roof of your mouth. The entire tongue, not just the tip. Push it up against the hard palate as if you were trying to flatten a piece of bread against the ceiling of your mouth. That is the pressure you need. Hold that pressure for the entire exercise. Do not release it until the sequence is complete. This one action engages the suprahyoid muscle group, the ropes that hold up the hyoid hammock. It directly targets the structural support. Step 2. Keeping your tongue pressed firmly upward. Slowly tilt your head backward. Look up toward the ceiling. Go as far as you comfortably can without straining. You should feel the skin under your jaw stretch as your chin rises. That gentle pull is the first sign your platysma is waking up. Step 3. With your head tilted back and your tongue still pressed up, push your lower jaw forward. This is the key move that targets the platysma directly. Slide your lower jaw forward as if you were trying to make your bottom teeth meet your top lip. This exaggerated motion engages the muscle sheet running up from your collarbone. You will feel a strong pulling sensation along the entire front of your neck, from your collarbone up to your jaw. That pull means the muscle is finally working. That sensation is your platysma activating, possibly for the first time in many years. A muscle that has been dormant is finally being told to wake up. Hold that position for 10 seconds, tongue pressed up, head tilted back, lower jaw forward, neck tight. Keep breathing normally. This 10-second hold is the core of the exercise. Slowly relax. Bring your head back to neutral. Release your tongue from the roof of your mouth. Let your neck return to a comfortable resting position. Repeat the full sequence 3 times. Each round takes about 10 seconds with a brief rest in between. 3 rounds is all you need per session. Total elapsed time, including brief rest between rounds, is roughly 30 seconds. That is the entire time investment for one session. It fits into any routine. Do this once in the morning, once in the evening. That is 2 minutes total per day. Consistency matters more than intensity for this small muscle. A common reaction is 30 seconds cannot possibly be enough. Let me address that directly. The platysma is not a large muscle. It does not need long workouts. The platysma is small and thin. It needs activation, not long workouts. A short, focused contraction is enough to wake it up and start strengthening it. Because the platysma has been completely dormant for so long, it responds to almost any deliberate contraction at all. It doesn't need long workouts, just activation. In the first 2 weeks, you may not see anything change in the mirror. The skin still looks the same, and that's completely normal. Inside the muscle, neural pathways are reactivating. Your brain is relearning how to send signals to a structure it had effectively forgotten existed. By week 4, the muscle fibers that had thinned begin thickening. The platysma starts to regain its structure and strength. By week 6 to 8, the platysma is producing enough resting tension to lift the overlying skin. The curtain begins to rise on its own. By week 10 to 12, the visible change is what most people would describe as significant. The jawline becomes cleaner and more defined. This is the same biological principle that lets a person rebuild leg strength after weeks bedridden in a hospital. The muscle remembers. The muscle fibers are still there. The connections just need to be reestablished. Reactivation is faster than building from scratch. The reason 30 seconds works and a 5-minute workout does not is simple. The platysma fatigues quickly. After about 12 to 15 seconds of strong contraction, the platysma stops producing useful tension. It needs rest to recover. 3 rounds of 10 seconds with brief recovery between them gives you maximum useful contraction without overworking a small, thin muscle. More is not better here. More is just more. The platysma responds to quality, not quantity. The exercise is the centerpiece, but 3 small additions can accelerate your results even further. Think of them as fine-tuning the recovery process. First in the morning, right after your 30-second sequence, spend another 30 seconds on a chin tuck. It targets the muscles that keep your head properly aligned. Place 2 fingers on your chin and gently push it straight backward, not down. It should feel like you are deliberately making a double chin. Hold that position for 5 seconds, release, and repeat 5 times. It's a quick, gentle movement that builds strength without strain. This movement trains the deep cervical flexors, the small muscles at the front of your neck that hold your head over your shoulders instead of forward. It directly reverses forward head posture. Second, during the daytime, aim to do a single platysma contraction once every hour. It's a micro habit that keeps the muscle engaged throughout the day. You don't need the full sequence. Just press your tongue to the roof of your mouth. Lift your chin slightly and pull the corners of your mouth downward firmly for 5 seconds. People around you will not notice you doing this. The muscle remembers the signal, and even these brief contractions help maintain the progress. Third, in the evening, try to sleep on your back if you can. This protects the front of your neck from being compressed for hours. Side sleeping compresses the front of the neck on whichever side you are facing for hours every night. Over decades, this contributes asymmetrically to the collapse. Use a flat to medium pillow that keeps your neck in line with your spine, not a thick pillow that pushes your chin toward your chest. This protects the work you are doing during the day. 2 more things make turkey neck worse, independent of muscle work: dehydration and looking down at your phone. Both are easy to address. The skin of your neck is among the thinnest on your body. When you're even mildly dehydrated, that skin loses its plumpness and the underlying looseness becomes more visible. Most adults over 60 walk around chronically dehydrated because the thirst signal weakens with age. Aim for roughly 60 ounces of water spread across the day, not chugged all at once. Every minute you spend with your chin tucked toward your chest is a minute the skin under your jaw is folded against itself. Looking down at a phone is a major culprit. Hold a piece of paper folded in half for 10 years and the crease becomes permanent. The same physics applies to the skin of your neck. Hold your phone at eye level and raise your laptop. 8 weeks after Margaret started, the side profile photo she sent showed a measurable change in her cervicomental angle between her chin and her throat. The skin had not disappeared. It had tightened against the underlying muscle, which had finally started working again. She did not get the result an $11,000 surgery would have given her. She got the result her own body was capable of producing for free.